Long time no see. I'm back. Oh my god. It's been a long time. Not really any good excuse for that. It's just sort of, well, it's been pretty shitty for everyone, but, I just haven't had time to really sit down and talk about all these records, and now I've really kind of fucked myself because I have so many to talk about. I think the last time I didn't do it, I was going to do the same thing I did before of like bunching the months together because I didn't have enough, I felt, to justify a video. I have a water here too, by the way. But at this point, you could say I have enough. And that's partly thanks to me going to the flea market. So the flea markets have opened now, but I've kind of steered away from them for obvious reasons. I went once, and that time I didn't get anything besides records, so I figured I'd just put it in this little series I have. I don't know how this month in vinyl and flea market pickups will coexist. That's something I'm still figuring out, but in the meantime, it's both. It's both for now, because I've got a lot to go through, and technically not too much time. I think I only have 50 minutes on this thing, so let's get this going. So first up is the Arctic Monkeys Fluorescent Adolescent single. It's technically a single, but it's got 4 tracks on it, so I mean, it's good enough. I'd probably consider it an EP, honestly. It was released during like the Favorite Worst Nightmare era, and this 10-inch was only available in the UK. The US and stuff got 7-inch versions, which only have Fluorescent Adolescent and I believe Too Much to Ask are the only ones on there. Well, this one has both The Bakery and Plastic Tramp, as you can see right there. The Bakery is actually one of my favorite Arctic Monkeys songs, period. Not even just as a like a B-side, just in general, which is the reason why I wanted to get this, because it's only available on the 10-inch, and this is just a really good selection of songs, really good time in the Arctic Monkeys era, and I got it for a pretty good price. Forgive me, I don't remember how much I paid for this, because I bought this back in April, but I got a pretty good price on it because the outer sleeve itself is pretty rough looking, especially right here in the back. You can see like this cut. I have no clue how this happened. So it looks a little... It doesn't look as good as I would want it to, but it shipped from the US, and I believe was probably under like $20 or something, so I considered it good enough to grab. And the record itself looks and sounds great, so no regrets here. I will say there's like a little poem by this guy John Cooper Clarke. There's a poem like this in the Favorite Worst Nightmare inner sleeve as well, and I'm pretty sure it's just an Alex Turner alias. I haven't. I think I found that out by looking it up a long time ago, but it's been so long I could be misremembering. Next up, we have Jonathan Fireeater, Tremble Under Boomlights. Tremble Under Boomlights is an EP, technically, although this has enough tracks. This release by Third Man in 2019 has enough tracks to be considered a full album. I first heard of Jonathan Fireeater from this book called Meet Me in the Bathroom, which I'm looking at right there. It's with my record collection. It's basically a collection of interviews about a bunch of New York rock artists in the late 90s, early 2000s that pretty much kickstarted the garage rock revival scene, like the Strokes and the Yeah-Yeah-Yeahs and Interpol and stuff. And in the beginning of the book, they pretty much all mention Jonathan Fireeater as like a really big influence to them early on, because these guys are from like the late or mid to late 90s. Yeah, 1996 is when this came out. And it's pretty good. I would recommend listening to The Search for Cherry Red and Give Me Daughters. Those are probably the best songs on here. But yeah, I'm glad I actually, on a whim, just decided to see if this was available, because you could get a vinyl release of Tremble Under Boomlights, but it was a German press, I believe, and it wasn't cheap. It wasn't super expensive, but it was kind of up there to make me hesitant on buying it. But Third Man re-released it back in 2019, and I got it for like $20 or something. So I consider that worth it. Next up, this is one I ordered a little while ago at the time, but it ended up showing up around April or so. It's Blood Red Shoes' first album, Box of Secrets. Blood Red Shoes is a band I've been into since high school. I'm very happy to know about them. They're a good like garage rock revival band from the mid to late 2000s. They're a two-piece, just drummer and guitarist, and they got a lot of spunk to them, a lot of energy, which is what I really appreciate. Now, an issue I have, not with the release itself. Oh, I believe that's Spec. She wants to come in. Hey, buddy. You probably can't see her. Anyway, no, an issue I have with this, and you can probably already see this, is I got this shipped from the UK, and well, it's seen better days. I was kind of pissed when I saw this. I wasn't like furious, because again, I didn't pay much for this. I think I paid like $20. But even still, it's pretty big letdown to get a record like this in the mail. Thankfully, this really doesn't happen often. I believe this is the worst damage I've ever gotten, and the record itself sounded and played fine. So I wasn't too broken up about it. But if this was like a really like expensive release I got, or more limited release, I would have been pretty upset. Now, all right, this one's good. This is Ray Guns Are Not Just the Future by The Bird and the Bee. It's their second album, and they're like this sort of jazzy electronic pop band. It's another two-piece. Basically, you got I believe her name is Inara George. Yeah, she does the vocals, and then you got Greg Kirsten, who does pretty much all the music and whatnot. And it's just a really Inara's vocals are just like really good. She's got this almost like captivating voice or whatever. It's really it kind of piques your interest as soon as you listen to them. You'll know when you like them, whether you like them or not, as soon as you hear her. And this was, I believe, a Record Store Day 2019 release, and I managed to get this off of some guy on Discogs for a pretty cheap price, considering people are selling this for around like $40 or so. I think I paid $25. So I just got lucky, because it sounds fine, and it looks pretty cool too. It's on blue. And this version even comes with extra bonus tracks, which is pretty good. I would recommend this album. I haven't delved much deeper into The Bird and the Bee, but this seems like a better place to start than any, I'd say. Just check them out. I feel like I should have more to say about this. I don't know if I showed the back. There you go. I think I first got into them in like I believe, what song here? A Polite Dance Song. Polite Dance Song was in my Discover Weekly, and I was like, oh wow, this is good. So I gave it a whirl. These two I'll go through kind of quick, because I got them around the same time. And this is Yoni and Getty, Testarossa. What the hell? Don't worry about that. It's a side project by Yoni and Getty, Yoni Wolf, and I I'm afraid I do not know who Getty is as well as Yoni Wolf. Because Yoni Wolf is the guy from Y, the band Y, which I'm a fan of. So I picked this up because I figured I'd give it a shot. It was only like $12, and again, the case or the outer sleeve has seen better days. I don't know how this shit really don't know how this happens. You can kind of see like an indent. Like obviously there's the ring wear, but yeah, all right. So it is, yeah, like something must have been like pressed on this. Genuinely no clue, but not a big deal. The album itself was pretty good. It didn't really stick out to me that much, but I don't regret getting it because I'm a fan of Yoni Wolf, and it's nice to have in the collection. And the album cover is cool looking. And then we have Kimiko Kasai with Herbie Hancock. Now this one was actually a pretty good listen. It's a repress. It looks old, but trust me, I'm sure original release is way more expensive. And it's just on black vinyl, so I'm not gonna take it. I'm not gonna take this out because the OB strip can be kind of annoying. I'm gonna have to deal with that again soon. But yeah, just a really like jazzy album, I'd say. I don't know if these are covers or not, but regardless, I would recommend you check this out if you're into Herbie Hancock. Personally, I haven't listened to a lot of his stuff, but this is definitely a nice introduction. Kimiko Kasai I've never heard of, so if I just blaspheme, I'm sorry. I just figured I'd get it because I knew who Herbie Hancock was, and it was pretty cheap. And it looked like it'd be good, and it was. Next up, we have the Fooly Cooly original soundtrack. This OB strip was actually on its side. It wrapped around the thing completely, and it's a gatefold, so that was difficult. But this is the original Fooly Cooly. I believe I showed the alternative and progressive soundtracks a little while ago, which I got anyway because I like the pillows. This, I like both the pillows and the show, so it was a pretty easy get. This was this got, I think, pressed in like 2019, 2018 or something, and sold out pretty quick, but they restocked them a little while ago, so I picked that up without much hesitation. It's got this. Fooly Cooly is just it's really one of those shows you gotta watch. You don't really have much of an excuse if you like anime, because it's only 6 episodes, so you can't fuck it up. So you got Haruko, you got Mamimi, you got, what's his fucking name? You got Nauta, and you got Nina Mori, best girl. And the track listing, I believe, is just all the songs that were used in Fooly Cooly. So you got from oh my god, I'm blanking on the name. I've been blanking on names all fucking day. On Please Mr. Lost Man up to, I believe, Happy Bivouac, that like 4 stretch of albums from the mid to late 90s. And that's a really fucking great run of records. I have all of those. I believe I've shown them off in one of my videos. This one I think I paid like $40 for, because I believe I got this off the Right Stuff website, Right Stuff Anime, which is how I actually got the Monogatari box set that I showed off a little while ago too. This is gonna be a pain. Oh, actually, one thing I will say before I move on from this is well, first of all, here's Kanti. He's cool. Is they actually have lyric sheets for a band that's mostly in Japanese, so it's mostly, I believe it's Romanji, but sometimes the pillows sing in English, like here we got the lyrics to Runner's High, which is, escape from the sinking, do you see what I mean? Freedom beats the kingdom, and I saw you in my dream. Makes sense to me. Good stuff. It even has the credits for the animation staff that worked on the show. You got with Fully Cooley, it's really like it's like a 50-50 effort, I feel. Fully Cooley would not be as good or as well known, I believe, if not for the Pillows soundtrack, and obviously vice versa. Ask like any American person how they know the Pillows. I guarantee you it's thanks to this show. That's how I found out. And yeah, you should also count yourself lucky, because the Pillows, oh my god, this is gonna be one of those things I'm gonna have to do off the air, aren't I? It's just on standard black, by the way. The Pillows are a really special band to me, personally. And I highly recommend you give them a listen if you haven't already somehow. Alright. Is it gonna go? Yeah, alright. We did it. The other side, there's no inner sleeve, it's just black vinyl. We're gonna move on. We're already 16 minutes in. Remind me to check this around the 25-minute mark. I'm gonna have to restart the recording. Ugh. Next up, this is an interesting one. This is Final Strike of the Pumpkin Witch by Pumpkin Witch. They are a Halloween synth band, and you may not know what that sounds, but how that sounds like, but you do. You know how it sounds, even if you don't. You hear Halloween synth and you know. Pumpkin Witch is composed of the Disgraced Scientist, Haunter of Darkened Forests, and the Vampire Tyrant. I saw this on I believe it was on the Vinyl Releases subreddit, and I saw that it was called Halloween Synth. I asked my brother if he was like, I asked my brother, I was like, "You want me to get this?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "All right, cool." So I picked it up. It's on a dark green vinyl. Played at 45 RPM. It's a pretty atmospheric listen. If you're in a spooky mood, I'd recommend it. I think it's actually better than I expected it to be. Because I was kind of just getting it for the meme. This is also just on dark green. Because I mean, like you see something called Halloween synth, and you're just like, what does that mean? It turns out it just means what it means. Sorry if I'm kind of blitzing through these, but if I don't have anything more to say, I'm just going to move on and try not to faff around. I always say that, though. But I mean, come on. I got a lot to go through. Alright. Next up, we have... Well, what's this? Doesn't have a name. What the hell? This is the 12-inch single to New Order's Bizarre Love Triangle. If you follow my main channel, you would know I love this song. I made a fucking AMV about it. Or with it. And this is... you may be asking, well, why not just get the album? Like, yeah, I could, but I kind of wanted the 12-inch too. I don't know. It just felt kind of cool to have. And I was skulking the Discogs page for this album for a while, and I usually had pretty rough prices. I think it was like in like the $20-$30 range, which is a little more than I wanted to spend on this. But I found one, I believe, for like $18 in great condition. So I souped it up, and happy I got it. I'll admit the album art could be a little better. But I guess it's kind of the fit with the aesthetic of Brotherhood, which is really just like steel looking, I guess. Metallic looking anyway. Alright, so this next stretch of albums are almost all ones I got. They're all from the flea market. And I'll let you know when they stop being from the flea market. Because I got I got some records. I got actually a lot of great records from the flea market, which is when I realized that I needed to. Excuse me. It's when I realized I needed to do this video after I went to the flea market. First up is a near mint promo press of The Cure's Pornography. Pornography is a very good album by synth pop band The Cure. Everyone knows their hits. Friday I'm in Love, Boys Don't Cry, you know, all that stuff. This album is, in case you couldn't tell, it's kind of dark. It's a pretty moody album. It's got really, really like meaty drums to them. It's a lot to take in, but it's is an excellent record. I highly recommend it, and I paid a pretty decent amount for it, but I don't really regret it. This is a cool record to have in my collection. And almost all of these records came from one guy who rarely sets up at the flea market. He had I saw he had set all his stuff up, and I saw the new wave section. I just fucking beeline towards it, like new wave alternative, and he had a ton of stuff. This is a good find. It's not the best find I got from him. But from another guy, I did grab a Cure record, and it's Mixed Up, which is a compilation of mixes from their other albums. This is from the late 80s, so I think it's a little bit before Kiss Me, Kiss Me, Kiss Me, which has Just Like Heaven on it. I feel like if this came out after Just Like Heaven, it would have it. But yeah, it's still in the shrink. So you see it has like the sticker, the promo sticker or whatever. Hype sticker, that's what they're called. And you know, it's got stuff like this. It's a very cool looking album cover, I'd say. Like, I like the art for it. It's double LP, but no gatefold. Thank Christ. It's like a weird painterly thing. Listen to this. It's good. I'm not as familiar with The Cure as I'd like to be. My low price, $8.99. I did not pay $8.99 for this. I believe I paid $20. $25. Well, the guy usually marks down the prices for me. So probably around $20. Alright. You can probably see what I'm fucking with, but whatever. We'll just go with this one. The 2003 repress of My Bloody Valentine's Isn't Anything. Hey, Spec. My Bloody Valentine, shoegaze, inventors, I guess. I don't know if they invented it, but they definitely were one of the ones to really start it. And this album is the turning point in their career, because before that they did like kind of just like 80s pop stuff, and then this one, Kevin Shields got really weird with the guitars. This album I don't think is as good as Loveless, but it's still a good listen, I'd say. And this is actually the first record I saw on there that I just immediately took without even like thinking about it, because I knew, because you don't see My Bloody Valentine at the flea market, and it's a repress, and I'm pretty sure the 2003 pressings aren't considered the best, but they work. It didn't sound particularly terrible or anything, so I'm not really I don't feel particularly scorned. Now all I need is Loveless. That might be a little hard. Oh, sorry, buddy. Just didn't expect me to do that. Next up is a record I didn't even know existed. It's Martin Gore's Counterfeit EP. Martin Gore is one of the men behind Depeche Mode. And this is a promo copy, I guess. Just some tracks from 1989, so this is just before Violator. which it doesn't really sound like Violator. This is actually a lot more low key of an EP, but it was nice. It was just kind of like almost atmospheric to listen to, and pretty cool to have, I'd say, as a fan of Depeche Mode. Just this feel a lesser known part about their career. Technically their career. It's only one of the guys, but nonetheless interesting. Happy to grab. This next one was out of all the records I got from this one guy, was the most impulsive one, and it's After the Snow by Modern English. Modern English are the band behind I Melt With You. You know, I'll stop the world and melt with you. It's actually on here, but the rest of their music doesn't really sound like that. They're kind of like a dark synthy band, which is part of the reason why I got this. Also, I like I Melt With You. I think it's a fun song. And this is a UK pressing, because the US pressing has a different album art. Also a worse album art. Just looking good. I was pleasantly surprised by this record. I was a fan. There's some really good tracks in here. I'll have to dive into Modern English more later. But happy to have this. And it's getting about 30 minutes, so I'm going to cut this off now, and I'm going to start this up again. So, see you then. That didn't take so long. Next up, this is probably one of the favorites I got. It's New Order's Low Life. As you can see, I paid $40 for this. Pretty expensive. But it's a UK first press, and it was in great condition. The reason this, I believe, is pretty hard to come by, because it comes, I don't know if you can tell, but there's this finish on this album cover, and New Order really outdid themselves with this one. I feel like the packaging is really good, really cool. There's this almost like wax paper. I believe there's actually another term for this, like rice paper, I believe. Yeah, this rice paper all over the cardboard. So you can kind of see right here, it's printed on the rice paper, so it gives it almost like a translucent look, which I really like. I believe the guy I was getting this from has a little bit of a tear here, but that's okay. The guy I got this from, he was saying that the US pressing didn't do this, it just printed it on. And that's a shame, because I feel like this is sort of part of the effect, almost. Maybe I'm trying to fuck with this so you can kind of understand what I'm going for here. Like the print goes up, but the guy is printed on the cardboard, so it makes it a little harder to see. And the album credits are kind of peeking out like so. Pretty nifty. Designed by Peter Seville. So thanks, Peter. Very memorable album cover. As for the album itself, it's good. It's good. Love Vigilantes, very good. I'm trying to see some of the other ones. So This Time of Night, I remember really liking. So New Order, I'm getting more into them, and I'm appreciating them. They're kind of like this year's Depeche Mode in a way. Very exciting release to have. Now here's another New Order thing. This one's interesting, and yet not at the same time. It's Blue Monday, the best-selling single of all time, 12-inch single of all time. It looks like a floppy disk. Very cool. And it's got this color combination thing that's also a motif on Power, Corruption, and Lies, and this little die cut. They say that despite being the best-selling single of all time, and I'm sorry to people who actually know this already, and I'm just speaking, I just sound like a broken record, but Um, it's the best selling or like highest grossing single of all time, but they lost money on it, and the reason why was because they went with this die cut approach. So you see, this little tab right here, and you just pull the record out. You can see right through it. Oh, crazy! So yeah, because they decided to do this, it cost a little extra to produce, and they lost money. It's cool to get at the flea market though. I paid like $17 for this because it was in perfect condition, and it's just it's just Blue Monday and a track called The Beach, which is just a remix of Blue Monday. I feel like everyone sort of knows what Blue Monday is, but if you don't, it's a great track. You should listen to it. It's sort of one of like the first steps New Order took into being less of like Joy Division 2 and more of its own thing. It's one of their first really electronic-y sounding songs. Because Power, Corruption, and Lies is a lot more bass heavy. They all kind of are, but even this one is really, the bass hook fucking kicks ass. It's more like it's not, the synths aren't as pronounced on Power, Corruption, and Lies. Personally, I like the synth approach, but I know people who don't. That's okay. They can choose not to like it. Tell me, how do I feel? There we go. I don't know if you can see Spec, but she's right there. She's right out of frame. What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, well, they gotta see you now. Alright. This is just a single. It's a Depeche Mode single. I did not pay $25 for this. Shake the Disease. I believe that's on, was it Some Great Reward? It's not telling me. Alright, whatever. Fake fan alert. Yeah. This has got a couple of remixes on it too. It's pretty cool. I saw it around the flea market for a while. I decided to finally buy it. I have a lot of Depeche Mode singles. I should probably get more albums. And next one is also just kind of one I decided to buy. I haven't listened to this yet. It's Wild Planet by the B-52s. B-52s. Classic band. Everyone loves Rock Lobster. Everyone loves Love Shack. I like Private Idaho, so that's why I got this. Not much to say, because I haven't listened to it yet. But, yeah. Alright, and that's the rest of the flea market stuff. And there's not much left. Kind of blitzed through this son of a bitch. Sorry if that kind of lets you down. But maybe I'll have more to say about these ones. Not this next one, because I don't have a lot to say about it. It's Kronbin's newest album, Mordecai. Kronbin is this outer sleeve is gonna be a pain to put back on. It's so tight. Kronbin is like this band I heard of like a little while ago, like a month ago, like a few months ago even, and I saw they had a new album, and I just decided to kind of like on a whim pre-order it. So I haven't gotten around to listening to it yet. I saw Fantano didn't really give it a very good review, and I've seen kind of mixed things about this, but I'll judge it for myself. It's on this cool like sky blue, which is nice, and the packaging itself is very durable. It's got a lot of heft to it without being too complex. If that makes any sense. I don't know how to describe Kronbin. They kind of have like a... I don't like to use the word world music because it feels kind of weird to say, but they take influences from a lot of different places. And, yeah, very interesting. I mean, even the name Kronbin is kind of weird. Not a word you hear a lot. Yep, here it is. I got it in. All right. Now I get to do the... Yeah, for some reason some of my outer sleeves are tighter than others. Alright, next up. This one is the only 7-inch I got. I don't usually get 7 inches, but this is the only way I could have gotten this. And this is Benjamin Gibbard solo, his single Proxima B. And Proxima B is a song he debuted on his live stream that every day for 2 weeks he was doing a live stream when the coronavirus stuff started, and then he started doing everyone once a week for a little bit, and then he's stopped it. But he gave so many shows, and it was really good to just listen to him play requests of songs he hadn't played in fucking forever. Bunch of really old tracks, sleeper hits and stuff. He even played one of my requests, which is pretty cool. And this is a single he debuted on there. I believe this was supposed to be released this was going to be released anyway. Probably debuted sometime during the solo tour he was supposed to do, but things obviously happened. Proxima B, and its B-side is the Minor Threat song Filler, except it's like kind of a more acoustic arrangement, I guess. It's number 153. I don't know how many of these were pressed. It's on green. I believe this is it's a little lighter. It's a nice green. I actually didn't expect this. For some reason I feel like it would have said if it was a colored record or not, but nonetheless a pleasant surprise, because I do like my colored vinyl, and I was expecting black. As for the song itself, it's pretty good. I like it. Some people weren't pleased about the way the arrangement went, but I don't know. I was a fan. I'd like to hear more Ben Gibbard solo stuff, because he's only done one big solo album back in 2013, and I really like that album. I think we're due another one. As for when we'll get that, who knows? This next one is probably the most interesting one, and I might be on this for a bit. I actually have 2 copies of this because I got one from Brian, so I'll show them both off because they're both different variants. It's the Mario 64 soundtrack. This is done by Kawadeka Records, the people who did the Doom soundtrack I showed off a little while ago, and the Donkey Kong Country soundtrack. When they announced they were doing Mario 64, I swooped up on that immediately, because Mario 64 has one of my favorite soundtracks of any video game. And very exciting, because Kawadeka have proven themselves to make great sounding records. As for and what I think of this, I was a fan. I liked it. There were 2 variants you could get. I'll show you guys the first one first. The one I got for Brian. Oh jeez, come on. It's like this blue splatter effect, which is cool. Here's King Babam on the other side. I do have one complaint with this release, and I'll get to that in a bit. Spec really likes this. I'm not going to take out the other record for this one. Just wanted to show you guys the variant. They're functionally the same outside of that, so you're not missing much. I believe I paid about $50 for this, including shipping, because they ship out of Greece, so it was kind of expensive. It also took forever to get here. I ordered this back in, I believe, March, and I got it in June. Current events, I would blame for that, because my Doom record did not take as long. I think it took about like a month to get here. This took 4. Nonetheless, happy to have it. This is the variant I grabbed. They called it the Princess Peach Splatter. And I just got it because I don't really have a lot that's this color. And I like it. It was, I believe there's also, there might have been a standard black. I'm actually not sure. Now, the sound quality is great. I believe there's this like weird hissing on side D, I believe, or side C. I don't remember. I don't know if that was my needle or not. I'll have to check it out. I don't want to give Brian the bum copy, and I wanted this color anyway, so I'll roll with the punches. If that lowers the resale value, then whatever. Although people sell bootlegs like this for a fuck ton. Now, unlike the other, like the Doom soundtrack was fucking amazing. It was excellent quality, and Donkey Kong Country 2 soundtrack also good. This one, it's still good, but there's some nitpicks I have with it. Like this cover is good. I like this, but it feels as though the color of maybe not Mario or just like the logo and like or just like the color in general, it feels a little dark. Dark as in like the printer printed it like too dark, or it's like it bled, almost like it kind of has like a bleed through quality to it. And it's got this glossy finish. So I don't know how they make it, but I just it just something, just looking at it makes it seem a little less official, which I mean it isn't, but you know, you want this to look as good as possible, right? As for one other thing, these things came with 4 prints of characters from the game, and the photo quality is, I mean, like it's on like nice glossy paper, but these models, these look borderline. They look like they should be in like one of those Nintendo Hire This Man videos. It looks like they just kind of opened up like Unreal Engine and just put like these models in here to like sort of simulate the Mario 64 vibe. I feel like maybe you think I'm being a little too harsh here, but I have really high expectations for the Kawadeka releases, and I feel like this is almost feels like a bit of a waste, really. I would have liked that they just used like official art from the games for these like printouts, because these are like high quality. It's just what they're printing kind of isn't. And it comes with one more thing. There we are. This thing I kind of like. It's just like a little bookmark almost. You know, it's a me, Mario. It's got the Mario 64 logo. Again, it's cool. I like this. But it still has that sort of like bleed through effect. Like, I don't think this logo is supposed to be that dark. Regardless, I believe this is technically not a Kawadeka release. I believe they were like helping distribute another person's Mario 64 release. Oh, this was not going through the whole time. Classic. Yeah, also these things are a pain in the ass to put in. But yeah, it's just it's really more of it's not that big of a deal, you know? But it is a little bit of a damper because Mario 64 has one of my favorite soundtracks. It's very nostalgic to me. And I felt like it could have been better. Could have been a little better. Nonetheless, I'm happy to have it. Now finally, since I postponed this video for so long, I get to show this off. It's the Alien Soldier soundtrack by Data Discs. Unlike the Mario 64 soundtrack, this is official. Or it's licensed or whatever. So it's a very high quality release. Data Discs, they do excellent stuff. Alien Soldier is the Genesis cult classic made by Treasure. It's like a boss rush game and it kicks ass. Definitely play it. It comes with a poster, like so. Epsilon Eagle, he's got thighs for days. And it also came with a sticker, which I already put on my record player. What a drag. Okay. This is a 2LP on, Jesus, alright, hang on. What color is this? Because of course it's a color. Alright, yeah. It's actually kind of similar to the Mario 64 one, but it's more like a gray clear, and it's really hefty. I wouldn't be surprised if this was like 200 gram, or at least 180. Is there anything else in here besides the poster? I think that, yeah, alright. It also comes with postcards of some of the characters from the game. I haven't played Alien Soldier in a while, but obviously these are some of the bosses. G Tiger, Epsilon Eagle is the main character of the game. He's the guy you play as. The plot of Alien Soldier, I'm not sure. I think you're just like a mercenary and you're fighting a bunch of other mercenaries. 7 Force K-Day and G Tiger. Yeah, so it only comes with 3 postcards. I thought there were 4, but whatever. It's a nice little bonus. And yeah, that's the final record I got. Now, as I make this video, there are, I believe, a few records on the way. I believe I bought a release of That Dog's Retreat from the Sun. That I should be getting that in a few days, so I'm actually I'm not going to show that off, because I kind of just want to put it in my collection instead of have it sit in the corner until I make this video. So sorry if you're looking forward to that. It was a Third Man Records repress, or just a press in general, because that album had never been pressed up to that point. It's exciting, because that album's actually really good. You should give it a listen. As well as play Alien Soldier while you're at it. Okay, so almost 50 minutes. Not bad, not bad. It's not as long as I was expecting it to be. Maybe I learned to be a little more concise. Thanks for watching. And I don't have a catchphrase. Collection.